Want to speed up your language learning? Get access to all of our best PDF cheat sheets for free. Just click the link in the description and sign up for your free lifetime account right now.
Welcome to Can Do Japanese by JapanesePod101.com.
皆さんこんにちは、加納かなです。Hi everyone, I'm Kana Kano. In this lesson, you will learn how to use parting greetings.
This is Karen Lee, and she's talking with her former homestay mother, Miki Mori. As Karen says goodbye, her children join her in saying goodnight. Focus on the way each person says goodbye.
じゃあ、また。
おやすみなさい。
おやすみなさい。
またね。おやすみ。
Once more with the English translation.
じゃあ、また。
See you.
おやすみなさい。
Good night.
おやすみなさい。
Good night.
またね。おやすみ。
See you later. Good night.
Let's take a closer look at each of these expressions.
First, do you remember how Karen says, see you?
じゃあ、また。
This starts with the interjection,
じゃあ、
translating as, well, in this context.
じゃあ、じゃあ。
It's similar to the word well in English, when it's used to express a pause in conversation or thought. The second part is,
また、
again.
また、また。
Altogether,
じゃあ、また。
literally means, well, again. But it translates as, see you.
じゃあ、また。
This phrase is an abbreviated form of,
じゃあ、また会いましょう。
well, let's meet again.
じゃあ、また会いましょう。会いましょう。
Let's meet
会いましょう。会いましょう。
is omitted from this expression, but it's understood.
会いましょう。
Is from the verb,
会う。
meaning to meet.
会う。
The expression
じゃあ、また。
is fairly informal, which indicates a very close relationship between Karen and her host mother. Otherwise, Karen would use a more formal alternative. After this, do you remember how Sasha says, good night?
おやすみなさい。
おやすみなさい。
is a set phrase meaning good night.
おやすみなさい。
The first part is
お、
an honorific prefix.
お。
It's used to show politeness. Next is
休み。
rest.
や、す、み。休み。
It's from the verb
休む。
meaning to rest.
休む。
The last part is
なさい。
meaning please do.
な、さ、い。なさい。
Together
休みなさい。
is a command meaning take a rest.
休みなさい。
Altogether
おやすみなさい。
literally means please have a good rest, but it translates as good night.
おやすみなさい。
Both Sasha and Ben use this polite expression when saying good night to Mikimori. Note, there is an informal form of
おやすみなさい。おやすみ、
good night.
おやすみ。
Mikimori uses this to say goodbye to everyone.
おやすみ。
She's the oldest person in the conversation, so she has a lot of freedom to use informal language. Do you remember how Mikimori says, "See you later, good night"?
またね。おやすみ。
First is,
またね。
"See you later."
またね。またね。
There are two parts to this expression. First is,
また、
meaning again.
また、
Next is,
ね。
a sentence-ending particle used to seek confirmation about something or build a consensus. Here it means something like, right?
ね。
Together,
またね。
means something like, again, right? But it translates as, see you later,
またね。またね。
is an abbreviated form of,
また会いましょうね。
let's meet again, right?
また会いましょうね。
Next is,
おやすみ、
good night,
おやすみ、
the informal form of,
おやすみなさい、
good night.
おやすみなさい。
Altogether,
またね、おやすみ。
see you later, good night.
またね。おやすみ。
You may be familiar with the expression Sayonara, farewell, Sayonara. It's really common to hear it in foreign movies or dramas that involve Japan or Japanese people. Despite this, it's not so frequently used in daily life. There is another parting expression you may have come in contact with. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Borrowed from the English language, it's an informal expression which is basically used between kids and young people or when you talk to kids. The parting expression you choose will depend on many factors, such as your relationship with the person or people you're talking with. Let's look at the parting greetings once more. Listen and repeat or speak along with me. じゃあまた。じゃあまた。おやすみなさい。おやすみなさい。またね。またね。おやすみ。おやすみ。またね、おやすみ。またね、おやすみ。じゃあね。じゃあね。Did you notice the last parting greeting I used? じゃあね。じゃあね。
See you.
じゃあね。
The expression
じゃあね。
is commonly used in informal situations. It's an abbreviated form of
じゃあ、またね。
where the
また。
is omitted.
じゃあね。
Pronunciation note. Notice the extended pronunciation of the vowel at the end of
じゃあ。
listen again.
じゃあ。
This is a long vowel. You should be aware of this expression, but for this lesson, you'll use
じゃあ、また。Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how Karen says, "See you"? じゃあまた。 じゃあまた。When using polite Japanese, do you remember how to say good night? おやすみなさい。おやすみなさい。And the informal way to say good night. おやすみ。おやすみ。Do you remember how Mickey Mori says, see you later? またね。またね。Do you remember how Mickey Mori says, see you later, good night? またね、おやすみ。またね、おやすみ。
Let's practice. Imagine you're Mark Lee, and you're talking with Miki Mori. Respond by saying, good night, using polite Japanese. Ready?
またね。おやすみ。
おやすみなさい。
Listen again and repeat.
おやすみなさい。おやすみなさい。
Let's try another. Imagine you're Sasha, and you're finishing class. Respond to your friend by saying, see you later. Ready?
じゃ、また。またね。
Listen again and repeat.
またね。またね。
Let's try one more. Imagine you're Ben, and you're talking with your friend Hana. Respond by saying, good night, using informal Japanese. Ready?
おやすみ。
おやすみ。
Listen again and repeat.
おやすみ。おやすみ。
This is the end of this lesson.
Remember, these can-do lessons are about learning practical language skills. What's next? Show us what you can do. When you're ready, take your assessment. You can take it again and again, so try anytime you like. Our teachers will assess it and give you your results.
Now you know how to use basic parting greetings in Japanese. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson. This is the end of this lesson.
Now, here's what you can do to cement this conversation in your head. Review the conversation with our dialogue tool and lesson transcripts. Study the key words and phrases with our spaced repetition flashcards. Review the key grammar and cultural tips inside the lesson notes. And test yourself with our assessment tests. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to access our Can-Do course.
Now you know how to use basic parting greetings in Japanese. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Welcome to Can-Do Japanese by JapanesePod101.com.
皆さんこんにちは。加納かなです。Hi everyone, I'm Kana Kano. In this lesson, you learn how to use essential social expressions such as thank you.
This is Ben Lee, and he's on the train. A fellow passenger drops his wallet as he exits the train. Ben picks up the wallet and chases after the man. He calls to the man by saying, "Excuse me."
すみません。
Listen to the following 3 short dialogues between Ben and the man.
すみません。
はい。
Ben hands the man the wallet.
ありがとうございます。
どういたしまして。
Ben turns to board the train, but the door's shut.
すみません。
大丈夫です。
Once more with the English translation.
すみません。
Excuse me.
はい。
Yes? Ben hands the man the wallet.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
どういたしまして。
You're welcome. Ben turns to ride the train, but the door's shut. The man apologizes.
すみません。
I'm sorry.
大丈夫です。
It's all right.
Let's take a closer look at these 3 conversations.
First, do you remember how Ben Lee says, "Excuse me"?
すみません。
In this context,
すみません。
is used to get someone's attention and translates as, "Excuse me."
すみません。
すみません。
This expression can also be a mild apology and even a very polite thank you. Its most fundamental and perhaps most frequent use, though, is when you want to get someone's attention. In this case, Ben wants to get the attention of the person he is chasing after. Remember this expression. You'll use it later in the lesson. Do you remember how the passenger acknowledges Ben by saying, "Yes"?
はい。
はい。
"Yes"?
はい。
はい。
This expression is often used in response to.
すみません。
The second part of the conversation takes place after Ben returns the passenger's wallet. Do you remember how the passenger politely says, "Thank you"?
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
ありがとうございます。
This expression has 2 parts. First,
ありがとう。
which means something like gratitude.
ありがとう。ありがとう。ありがとう。
Originally comes from the phrase,
ありがたし。
which literally means hard to exist or rarely exists. It came to mean gratitude because you should appreciate something that rarely happens to you. The second part is
ございます。
a polite way to say, "I have" or "there exists."
ございます。ございます。
Together,
ありがとうございます。
means something like gratitude there exists, but translates as thank you.
ありがとうございます。
In more informal situations, you can drop the
ございます。
and just say
ありがとう。
thank you.
ありがとう。
Do you remember how Ben says, "You're welcome"?
どういたしまして。
どういたしまして。
You're welcome.
どういたしまして。どういたしまして。
means something like, "What did I do for you?" And it implies that the speaker didn't do anything, so there's no need for gratitude. First is
どう、
meaning how or what.
どう、
Second is
いたしまして、
meaning something like I did in the context.
いたしまして、いたしまして、
Is a form of the humble verb
いたす、
meaning to do.
いたす、
Together,
どういたしまして、
you're welcome.
どういたしまして。
This is the appropriate response to
ありがとうございます。
after the train doors shut and Ben misses his train. Do you remember how the passenger apologizes to Ben by saying, I'm sorry?
すみません。
In this context,
すみません。
means I'm sorry.
すみません。
The passenger feels responsible for Ben missing his train and is apologizing. So here
すみません。
means I'm sorry, while in the first dialogue
すみません。
means excuse me, as Ben is trying to get the passenger's attention. The meaning of
すみません。
depends on the context. Do you remember how Ben replies, It's all right?
大丈夫です。
The first part is
大丈夫。
all right.
だいじょうぶ。大丈夫。
Next is
です。
in this case, it's like the am in I am.
です。です。
Together,
大丈夫です。
this literally means I am all right, but it translates as it's all right.
大丈夫です。
This is a common phrase used to express that things are all right, referring to situations and physical well-being.
Do you remember how Ben says, You're welcome? どういたしまして。This expression is often preceded by いいえ meaning no. いいえ。いいえ。Together, the full expression is いいえ、どういたしまして。No, what did I do for you? But translates as You're welcome. いいえ、どういたしまして。Sometimes you might hear only the first part of this expression, いいえ, without どういたしまして. In this case, the どういたしまして is inferred from context, so it is omitted. Let's look at the expressions once more. Listen and repeat or speak along. Pay attention to the body language. すみません。すみません。はい。はい。ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。どういたしまして。どういたしまして。すみません。すみません。大丈夫です。大丈夫です。Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then, repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say, Excuse me? すみません。すみません。And how to say, Yes? はい。はい。When using polite Japanese, do you remember how to say, thank you? ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。And how to say, you're welcome. どういたしまして。どういたしまして。Do you remember how to say, I'm sorry? すみません。すみません。And how to say, it's alright. 大丈夫です。大丈夫です。
Let's practice. Imagine you're Karen Lee, and you receive a popular Japanese candy from your Japanese teacher. Say, thank you. Ready?
ありがとうございます。
どういたしまして。
Listen again and repeat.
ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。
Let's try another. Imagine you are Mark Lee, and a passenger bumps into you. Respond by saying, it's all right. Ready?
すみません。
大丈夫です。
Listen again and repeat.
大丈夫です。大丈夫です。
Let's try one more. Imagine you're Mark Lee, and you see a man drop his wallet. Get his attention. Ready?
すみません。
はい。
Listen again and repeat.
すみません。すみません。
This is the end of this lesson.
Remember, these can-do lessons are about learning practical language skills. What's next? Show us what you can do. When you're ready, take your assessment. You can take it again and again, so try anytime you like. Our teachers will assess it and give you your results.
Now you know how to use essential social expressions in Japanese. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson. This is the end of this lesson.
Now, here's what you can do to cement this conversation in your head. Review the conversation with our dialogue tool and lesson transcripts. Study the key words and phrases with our spaced repetition flashcards. Review the key grammar and cultural tips inside the lesson notes. And test yourself with our assessment tests. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to access our Can-Do course.
Now you know how to use essential social expressions in Japanese. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. We've found that the best way to learn a language is to speak it from day one. And the best way to start speaking is to learn phrases that you'll use in real conversations. In this lesson, we'll learn conversational phrases to answer the question, what's your favorite number? After watching this video, you'll be able to say many numbers and ask someone their favorite number. And if you want to learn more vocabulary, phrases, and example sentences you can use in real-life situations, click the link in the description to download your Talking About Numbers PDF cheat sheet for free. Now, let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
好きな数字は何ですか ?7 です。
Once more with the English translation.
好きな数字は何ですか
What's your favorite number?
7です。
It's 7. First of all, you'll need to learn how to say, what's your favorite number? That's,
好きな数字は何ですか
listen to it again.
好きな数字は何ですか好きな数字は何ですか
This Japanese sentence literally means, as for your favorite number, what is? But it translates as, what's your favorite number? Now, how do you answer this question? The pattern is number.
です。
This Japanese sentence literally translates as number is, but it means its number. For example, it's 7.
7です。7です。
Here are a few more numbers you can use with the same pattern. 7,
7。7。
7、7、
2,
2。2。
4,
4。4。
4、4、
9,
9。9。
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
好きな数字は何ですか ?2 です。好きな数字は何ですか ?4 です。好きな数字は何ですか ?9 です。
Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, what's your favorite number?
好きな数字は何ですか
Imagine it's 2. Do you remember how to say 2?
2。2。
Say, it's 2.
2です。
Now answer the question saying, it's 2.
好きな数字は何ですか ?2 です。
Now imagine it's 4. Do you remember how to say 4?
4。4。
Say, it's 4.
4です。
Now, answer the question by saying, it's 4.
好きな数字は何ですか ?4 です。
Now, imagine it's 9. Do you remember how to say 9?
9。9。
Say, it's 9.
9です。
Now, answer the question saying it's 9.
好きな数字は何ですか？ 9です。
In this lesson, you learned number-related phrases you can use in your everyday life to talk about numbers. You are now able to count like a native speaker. Start by practicing in the comments below. Tell us your favorite number. Lastly, don't forget to click the link in the description and download your PDF cheat sheets. You'll get useful phrases you need for everyday life for free. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
In this video, you learn 20 of the most common words and phrases in Japanese. Hi everyone! My name is Risa. Welcome to the 800 Core Japanese Words and Phrases video series. This series will teach you the 800 most common words and phrases in Japanese. But there's a twist. With each new lesson in this series, we'll include the previous lessons at the end. So after you've learned the new words and phrases, stick around and review what you've learned in previous lessons. Reviewing is one of the most important part of learning a language. You can also get the full list right now at JapanesePod101.com. Click the link in the description to access more example sentences, create your own flashcard deck, and finally master Japanese. Okay, let's get started. First one is 手伝う help 手伝う手伝う help はい、手伝います。Sure, I'll help you. はい、手伝います。学ぶ learn 学ぶ学ぶ learn 外国語を学ぶのが好きです。I like to learn foreign languages. 外国語を学ぶのが好きです。動かす move 動かす動かす move ロボットが腕を動かす The robot moves its arms ロボットが腕を動かす17 17 17 17 17彼は17歳です。He is 17 years old. 彼は17歳です。18 18 18 18 18彼は18歳です。He's 18 years old. 彼は18歳です。19 19 19 19 19ボタンが19個いります。I need 19 buttons. ボタンが19個いります。20 20 20 20 20
飴を20個食べた。I ate 20 candies. 飴を20個食べた。首 neck 首 neck ヘルメットが重すぎて首を痛めた。I hurt my neck because the helmet was too heavy. ヘルメットが重すぎて首を痛めた。顔 face 顔 face 相手の顔をついてください。Please jab your opponent in the face. 相手の顔をついてください。耳 ear 耳 ear あの人はすごい福耳だ。That man has really plump ears. あの人はすごい福耳だ。髪 hair 髪 hair 私の髪は長いです。My hair is long. 私の髪は長いです。山 mountain 山 mountain 一日で2つの山を越えた。I crossed 2 mountains in a day. 一日で2つの山を越えた。浜辺 beach 浜辺beach 一緒に浜辺を歩きたいです。I want to walk on the beach with you. 一緒に浜辺を歩きたいです。熱帯雨林 rainforest 熱帯雨林熱帯雨林 rainforest アマゾンの熱帯雨林はとても広い。The Amazon rainforest is very large. アマゾンの熱帯雨林はとても広い。島 island 島 island この島には蘭がたくさんある。There are many orchids in this island. この島には蘭がたくさんある。辞書 dictionary 辞書dictionary 私は時々辞書に載っていない言葉を使います。 I sometimes use words that are not in the dictionary. 私は時々辞書に載っていない言葉を使います。青い blue 青い青い blue 彼の靴紐は青い。His shoelaces are blue. 彼の靴紐は青い。黄色い。yellow 黄色い。黄色い。yellow ひまわりは黄色いです。The sunflowers are yellow. ひまわりは黄色いです。オレンジ色 orange オレンジ色オレンジ色 orange オレンジ色のシャツが欲しい。I want an orange shirt. オレンジ色のシャツが欲しい。色 color 色色 color それは濃い色です。It's a strong color. それは濃い色です。Well done! In this lesson, you expanded your vocabulary and learned 20 new useful words. Click the link in the description and sign up for free at JapanesePod101.com to get access to the full list of vocabulary you need for daily life conversations. You'll also get example sentences, custom flashcard decks, and more learning resources. See you next time! またね!
Welcome to Can Do Japanese by JapanesePod101.com.
皆さんこんにちは、加納かなです。Hi everyone, I'm Kana Kano. In this lesson, you learn how to tell someone where you're from in Japanese.
This is Mark Lee, and he's on a plane to Japan. Ken Kobayashi, a passenger sitting next to him, asks him, Mr. Lee, where are you from?
リーさん、出身はどこですか？
Listen to the conversation and focus on Mark's response. Note, the speakers in this conversation use polite Japanese. Ready?
リーさん、出身はどこですか？
出身はニューヨークです。
Once more, with the English translation.
リーさん、出身はどこですか？
Mr. Lee, where are you from?
出身はニューヨークです。
I'm from New York.
Let's take a closer look at the conversation. Do you remember how Ken Kobayashi asks, Mr. Lee, where are you from?
リーさん、出身はどこですか？
First is
リーさん、
Mr. Lee.
リーさん、
This starts with Mark Lee's family name,
リー、
Lee.
リー、
After this is
さん、
a polite suffix attached to a person's name that translates as Mr. in Mark's case.
さん、さん、
Note, this suffix can be used with any gender. Together,
リーさん、
Mr. Lee.
リーさん、
Next is the word
出身、
hometown.
出身、出身、
Remember this word because you'll see it again in Mark's response. After this is the particle,
は、
the topic marking particle.
は、
It marks hometown as the topic of the sentence. Think of it like as for in the expression, as for your hometown. Together, it's
出身は、
as for your hometown.
出身は、
Note, the your is understood through context as the speaker is asking a question.
出身は、
Next is the word
どこ、
where.
どこ、どこ
After this is,
です。
here it's like the is in where is.
です。です。
Last is the particle,
か、
the question marking particle.
か、
This particle turns the sentence into a question. Altogether, it's
リーさん、出身はどこですか？
This literally means, Mr. Lee, as for your hometown, where is? But it translates as, Mr. Lee, where are you from?
リーさん、出身はどこですか？
Remember this question. You'll hear it again later in this lesson.
Now, let's take a closer look at the response. Do you remember how Mark Lee says, I'm from New York?
出身はニューヨークです。
First is
出身、
hometown.
出身
Next is the particle,
は、
the topic marking particle.
は、
It marks hometown as the topic of the sentence. Together, it's
出身は、
as for my hometown.
出身は、
Note, the my is understood through context as the speaker is responding to a question about his hometown. Next is
ニューヨーク、
New York.
ニューヨーク、ニューヨーク
Last is,
です。
in this case, it's like the is in it is.
です。
Altogether,
出身はニューヨークです。
this literally means, as for my hometown, New York is. But it translates as, I'm from New York.
出身はニューヨークです。
The pattern is,
出身は hometown です。
I'm from hometown.
出身は hometown です。
To use this pattern, simply replace the hometown placeholder with the name of your hometown. Imagine you're from Sydney. In Japanese,
シドニー、シドニー、シドニー。
say, I'm from Sydney. Ready?
出身はシドニーです。
I'm from Sydney.
出身はシドニーです。
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat, or speak along with the native speakers.
出身はニューヨークです。出身はニューヨークです。
出身は札幌です。出身は札幌です。
出身はシアトルです。出身はシアトルです。
出身はロンドンです。出身はロンドンです。
出身は長崎です。出身は長崎です。
出身はオーストラリアです。出身はオーストラリアです。
Did you notice the last speaker says a country name in place of a city name?
She says,
出身はオーストラリアです。
I'm from Australia.
出身はオーストラリアです。
The word
出身
actually has a broader meaning than just one's hometown. You can also use it to talk about your country. This pattern is
出身は home country です。
I'm from home country.
出身は home country です。
You should be aware of this pattern, but for this lesson, we'll use city names. Let's review the key vocabulary.
札幌、
Sapporo,
札幌、札幌。シアトル、
Seattle,
シアトル、シアトル。ロンドン、
London,
ロンドン、ロンドン。長崎、
Nagasaki,
長崎、長崎。Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say hometown? 出身、出身。And the topic marking particle? は、は。Do you remember how to say New York? ニューヨーク、ニューヨーク。And do you remember how Mark says, I'm from New York?
出身はニューヨークです。
出身はニューヨークです。Do you remember how to say where? どこ、どこ。And the question marking particle? か、か。Do you remember how Ken Kobayashi asks, Where are you from?
出身はどこですか？
出身はどこですか？ Do you remember how to say London? ロンドン、ロンドン。And how to say Seattle? シアトル、シアトル。Do you remember how to say長崎？長崎、長崎。
Let's practice. Imagine you're Jack Jones from London. Respond to Ken Kobayashi's question. Ready?
出身はどこですか？
出身はロンドンです。
Listen again and repeat.
出身はロンドンです。出身はロンドンです。
Let's try another. Now imagine you're Emma Egawa from Seattle. Ready?
出身はどこですか？
出身はシアトルです。
Listen again and repeat.
出身はシアトルです。出身はシアトルです。
Let's try one more. Imagine you're Kana Kano from Nagasaki. Ready?
出身はどこですか？
出身は長崎です。
Listen again and repeat.
出身は長崎です。出身は長崎です。
This is the end of this lesson.
Remember, these can-do lessons are about learning practical language skills. What's next? Show us what you can do. When you're ready, take your assessment. You can take it again and again, so try anytime you like. Our teachers will assess it and give you your results.
Well done! Now you know how to tell where you are from in Japanese. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson. This is the end of this lesson.
Now, here's what you can do to cement this conversation in your head. Review the conversation with our dialogue tool and lesson transcripts. Study the key words and phrases with our spaced repetition flashcards. Review the key grammar and cultural tips inside the lesson notes. And test yourself with our assessment tests. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to access our Can-Do course.
Well done! Now you know how to tell where you are from in Japanese. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Welcome to Can-Do Japanese by JapanesePod101.com.
皆さんこんにちは、加納かなです。Hi everyone, I'm Kana Kano. In this lesson, you learn how to talk about your family.
This is Ben Lee, and he's at a coffee shop with his classmate, Hana Hashimoto. Ben is showing some pictures to Hana. She points to one of them and asks, "Is this your family?"
ベン君の家族ですか？
Listen to the conversation and focus on the response. Ready?
ベン君の家族ですか？
はい、父と母と妹と私です。
Once more with the English translation.
ベン君の家族ですか？
Is this your family?
はい、父と母と妹と私です。
Yes, this is my father, mother, younger sister, and me.
Let's take a closer look at the conversation.
Do you remember how Hana asks, "Is this your family?"
ベン君の 家族ですか？
First is
ベン君、
Ben.
ベン君、
This starts with Ben's name in Japanese.
ベン、ベン、ベン、
After this is
君、
a suffix attached to a person's name.
く、ん、君、
It is often used to address males with whom the speaker has a close relationship, who are younger than the speaker, or who are of lower social status than the speaker.
君、
There is no equivalent in English. Instead, the translation is contextual. In this case, it indicates a close relationship between the speaker, Hana, and Ben. Together it's
ベン君、
Ben.
ベン君、
Next is
の、
the possessive marking particle.
の、
Think of
の、
as a way to indicate possession, like the apostrophe S in Ben's family. The word it follows possesses the thing that comes after it. In this sentence, it marks
ベン君、
Ben as the possessor. Together,
ベン君の、
translates as Ben's.
ベン君の、
After this is
家族、
family.
家族、家族、
Together
ベン君の家族、
literally means Ben's family,
ベン君の家族、
but it translates as your family. In Japanese, it's more common and polite to address a person by their name and polite suffix rather than directly with words like your or you. Next is
です。
in this case, it's like the is in is this your family?
です。です。
Last is
か、
the question marking particle. This turns the sentence into a question.
か、
Altogether, it's
ベン君の家族ですか？
this literally means Ben's family this is, but it translates as is this your family?
ベン君の家族ですか？
Note that this is understood from the context of the conversation, as Hana is pointing at the picture when she asks the question.
ベン君の家族ですか？
Remember this question. You'll hear it again later.
Let's take a closer look at the response.
Do you remember how Ben says, "Yes, this is my father, mother, younger sister, and me"?
はい、父と母と妹と私です。
There are two parts to the response. The first part is
はい、
meaning yes.
は、い、はい。
It answers Hana's yes or no question. Is this your family?
ベン君の家族ですか？
In the second part, Ben lists the different members of his family as he points to each one.
父と母と妹と私です。
This is my father, mother, younger sister, and me.
父と母と妹と私です。
First is
父、
meaning my father.
ち、父。
Next is the particle
と、
meaning and in this context.
と。母、
My mother.
は、は、母。
After this,
と、
and
と。妹、
my younger sister.
い、も、う、と。妹、
Again,
と、
and
と。私、
translates as me in this context.
わ、た、し。 私
Last is.
です。
In this case, it's like the is in this is my father. It's a linking verb.
です。
Altogether,
父と母と妹と私です。
my father and my mother and my younger sister and me. This is. But it translates as this is my father, mother, younger sister, and me.
父と母と妹と私です。
In this case, this is understood from context, as it refers to the group of family members in the photograph Ben and Hana are looking at. Notice this Japanese sentence doesn't include a specific word that means my, like in English. Instead, it is understood through context. Again,
父と母と妹と私です。
the pattern is
My family member word と My family member word と My family member word と私です。
my family member word and my family member word and my family member word and me. Note the particle
と
follows each family member. To use this pattern, simply replace my family member word with each of your family members. Imagine your family members are your father, your mother, your older brother, and you.
兄
Older brother,
あに兄
say, this is my father, mother, older brother, and me. Ready?
父と母と兄と私です。
This is my father, mother, older brother, and me.
父と母と兄と私です。
When talking to someone outside your family about your own father, mother, or siblings, use the following words. 父 father 母 mother 兄 older brother 姉 older sister 姉弟 younger brother 弟妹 younger sister. However, when referring to another person's family members, you will need to use a different set of words. お父さん father お父さんお父さんお母さん mother お母さんお母さんお兄さん older brother お兄さんお兄さんお姉さん older sister お姉さんお姉さん弟さん younger brother 弟さん弟さん妹さん younger sister 妹さん妹さん
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
父と母と妹と私です。父と母と妹と私です。
父と母と兄と私です。父と母と兄と私です。
父と母と姉と私です。父と母と姉と私です。
父と母と姉と弟と私です。父と母と姉と弟と私です。
父と母と私です。父と母と私です。Did you notice how I only named 3 family members? 父と母と私です。
My father, mother, and me. You can remove a family member plus
と
to talk about a family of 3. This sentence pattern is flexible. Did you notice how Hana names 4 family members in addition to herself?
父と母と姉と弟と私です。
My father, mother, older sister, younger brother, and me. You can add family members plus
と
to talk about a larger family. Let's review the key vocabulary.
姉、
My older sister,
姉、姉。弟、
my younger brother,
お、と、う、と。弟。
Note, these words are part of the set of words that one only uses when speaking about one's own family members with others.
Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say yes? はい。はい。And how to say me? 私。私。Do you remember how to say and? と。と。And the word for my younger sister. 妹。妹。Do you remember the word for my mother? 母。母。And the word for my father. 父。父。Do you remember how Ben says, "This is my father, mother, younger sister, and me"?
父と母と妹と私です。
父と母と妹と私です。Do you remember how to say family? 家族。家族。And how Hannah addresses Ben? ベン君。ベン君。Do you remember how to say Ben's family? ベン君の家族。ベン君の家族。And do you remember how Hannah asks, "Is this your family?"
ベン君の家族ですか？
ベン君の家族ですか？ Do you remember the word for my younger brother? 弟。弟。And the word for my older sister. 姉。姉。Do you remember the word for my older brother? 兄。兄。
Let's practice. Imagine you're Sasha, Ben's younger sister. Respond to your friend's question referring to the photo. Don't forget to include the word for yes at the beginning of your response. Ready?
サーシャちゃんの家族ですか？
はい、父と母と兄と私です。
Listen again and repeat.
はい、父と母と兄と私です。はい、父と母と兄と私です。
Let's try another. Imagine you're Ben's college friend, Yukio Yamashita. You have a father, mother, and older sister. Ready?
山下くんの家族ですか？
はい、父と母と姉と私です。
Listen again and repeat.
はい、父と母と姉と私です。はい、父と母と姉と私です。
Let's try one more. Imagine you're Ben's college classmate, Hana Hashimoto. You have a father, mother, older sister, and younger brother. Ready?
橋本さんの家族ですか？
はい、父と母と姉と弟と私です。
Listen again and repeat.
はい、父と母と姉と弟と私です。はい、父と母と姉と弟と私です。
Did you notice how Sasha's friend refers to her in the question, Is this your family? サーシャちゃんの家族ですか? Is this your family? She calls Sasha, Sashaちゃん. This starts with Sasha's name in Japanese, Sasha. 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 After this is chan, a suffix attached to a person's name. Cha, chan. Chan is often used to address females with whom the speaker has a close relationship, who are younger than the speaker or who are of lower social status than the speaker. This is the end of this lesson.
Remember, these can-do lessons are about learning practical language skills. What's next? Show us what you can do. When you're ready, take your assessment. You can take it again and again, so try anytime you like. Our teachers will assess it and give you your results.
Now you know how to talk about your family in Japanese. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson. This is the end of this lesson.
Now, here's what you can do to cement this conversation in your head. Review the conversation with our dialogue tool and lesson transcripts. Study the key words and phrases with our spaced repetition flashcards. Review the key grammar and cultural tips inside the lesson notes. And test yourself with our assessment tests. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to access our Can-Do course.
Now you know how to talk about your family in Japanese. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Great work! Here's a reward. Speed up your language learning with our PDF lessons. Get all of our best PDF cheat sheets and ebooks for free. Just click the link in the description.